Hey guys, I'm back. You know that this video is going to be heavy when I start it off with a disclaimer, but here's a disclaimer. You know the title of the video. This isn't really a video to like push anyone into any political opinions. Everyone has their own opinion. I'm not trying to spread any misinformation about the vaccine because I don't know anything about it. I am a 16-year-old sixth form student, so this is not where you should get information about whether you should take the vaccine or not. I'm just speaking from experiences and research that I have done. So now that all the damage control has gotten out of the way, let's get into this video. You thought the damage control was done? Haha, think again. Also, I just want to give you guys a heads up. In this video, as you go along, you can kind of tell that I'm getting more and more drained, and I find it more and more hard to put sentences together. I don't know why. It could be exhaustion from school, or it could just be this and me being fed up and sick of it. So, yeah, just giving you a heads up. Also, I have no faith in humanity. Like, a couple months ago, I was watching SNL, and all my friends know how much I love SNL. And my favourite part is the Weekend Update sketch with Michael Che and Colin Jost. And Michael Che, he made this joke, basically saying that black people naturally didn't trust the vaccine. And I was a bit confused by this, but didn't really question it because I knew my family didn't trust it. I had just tried to regurgitate that joke, not really thinking why. Because, I don't know, I just thought it was just something that we did. Throughout this last 2 months and stuff, now that the vaccine has been distributed, I've been really thinking why? Is it really natural? But I've thought back to all the times my mum has been saying about the vaccine and all her conspiracy theories. It all has religion to be involved. I thought, yeah, that's probably it. It's not just really black people, it's just the religious aspect. When I thought of that, I thought of Kanye West. As you know, with that running for president last summer, he was against the vaccine and thought it was the devil. And this view that loads of people have actually comes from Revelations and the idea of the mark of the beast. It's very, very hard to decipher. There's loads of translations and people interpretation about what this is because it is very vague. And I tried to research just using the Bible, just reading the Bible, and yes, it's very vague. I don't know what the mark of the beast is, but it said people will have it either on their forehead or in their right arm. And I don't know where you get the vaccine. It may be in your right arm. I'm not sure. But people have been saying over the decades and stuff that it will be a chip that you get injected, and this is an injection. We don't know what they're injecting into us. That's the whole debate that everyone's been having, that my mother was constantly telling me. They are going to chip us and we will be going to hell. I kind of felt that was really weird. I didn't really want to question it because I don't read Revelations that often, because if you know what it's about, it's usually just about the end of the world, and it is scary. I was just content in just hearing my mother's and my family's opinions about it and not really giving it a second thought, because I'm 16 and I'm healthy. I probably won't be getting the vaccine. If I do, it'll probably be a year or two where it wouldn't really matter as much because coronavirus would have gone down because of herd immunity. So I was I probably won't even have to get it. What's the point? I shouldn't think about this. It's not my problem. It's my family's problem. But then Amber Ruffin came into my life. If you don't know who Amber Ruffin is, she's a comedian. She was a writer on the Seth Meyers late night show. And I really like late night shows. I know they're bad, but I really like it. And I found out she had her own late night show on Peacock. And let me just quickly talk about that. Why is she on a trash streaming service? Why doesn't NBC just give her Lily Singh space? Lily Singh does not need a show. She had one season to prove herself. The ratings were awful. She was not funny. NBC, give Amber Ruffin her place. Please. Amber Ruffin deserves it. Anyway, Amber Ruffin, she kind of mentioned like about this situation, because this isn't a new thing. Like news agencies and outlets have been talking about like black people and people of colours like discontent with taking it and like worry with taking it. It's been like everywhere for a while now, and this is the first time I heard about this experiment or this study, but like this is like a month ago, so you've probably heard of it if you're watching this video. The Tuskegee syphilis study. That's not the full name of the study. I'm not going to say the full name because it is so freaking racist. I'm just not going to stoop to it. If you haven't heard about this study, I'll just give you a small recap. The year is 1932, and the American government thinks there's no better way to spend our money other than giving black men syphilis to see if they die or not if it's not treated. So they got 600 black men that had syphilis, but said that they were giving them a treatment and a cure, but actually gave them a placebo that did nothing, just to see what would happen if it wasn't treated. That's what they were spending their good-earned taxpayer money with. And this lasted for 40 years. It didn't get shut down to the 70s, which is actually beyond me. The 70s, which is like, I was gonna say it was like yesterday, but no, I was not born. I was like 30 years pre-born. My mother was a child, so not that long ago, but still very long ago. Like, it lasted 40 years and no one knew about it. So as you can see from this example and stuff, you can see black people's worry with taking the vaccine. So along with the Tuskegee study, I also did some research and found out the so-called father of gynecology, James Maron Sims, tortured black women without any anesthetic to see if he can like research and cure childbirth death, like the death women like tend to have during childbirth. And he'd made like loads of textbooks and stuff out of this, saying that it's ethical because they don't feel as much pain as white people do. The same phrase that's been taught for hundreds of years, and now in this modern day, black women being so much more likely to die in childbirth than white women. I just think it's crazy. They basically made the whole gynecology, that our suffering made gynecology happen and aided all the research, but yet we're still not benefiting from it. We're still dying from it. That brings me to Dr. Mike. If you watch YouTube, you know Dr. Mike. I used to love him, probably because he looks a lot like Derek Shepherd and he's a doctor. And then I watched earlier this week D'Angelo's video on Corona and I'm just like, he's a fraud. But this video that he did was good. So he may be a fraud, but he gives good information. He was talking about this woman. She was a doctor, and in last year she got coronavirus, and like she said that she wasn't treated as if she was human in the hospital. She said she had shortness of breath, and they just said, no, you don't. Go home. You don't have shortness of breath. We know what you have. You may be experiencing shortness of breath. You may think you're experiencing shortness of breath, but you're not. We're right. You don't have shortness of breath. Go home. We're not going to treat you. We're not going to put you on a ventilator. That's a waste of resources. She went home and she died. I'm going to link Dr. Mike's video in the description because I think you should watch it. I hate the world. I was literally just having a conversation with my friend. Shout out to Topper about like thinking, why is the world existing? Why? Would be better off all of us, all humanity not existing, because you all are awful. With all of this in mind, how can people now be saying, just take the vaccine? They don't make sense. Like, the vaccine could very well be safe and stuff. To be honest, I think it is probably safe, but like, it's understandable why people have their reservations with this situation, like not wanting to be guinea pigs and stuff, because as there were guinea pigs in the Tuskegee study and guinea pigs for this so-called father of gynecology, I feel like most people just kind of want to wait, let the white people take it first and see what happens, because we've been bamboozled too many times. I feel like everyone just needs to understand that it's just a precaution that people feel and they don't feel safe. Like, the vaccine could very well be safe, and it probably is safe, but just because of the past and history, it isn't. And like, we've kind of seen this in South Africa. As you know, South Africa has the highest HIV rates in the world. It's got so much HIV. 60% of all women have HIV in South Africa. And this is mainly because they didn't really like start using like modern medicine or like white medicine to treat it because they didn't trust it. Like in secondary school, I had a friend that's half South African, and she was talking to me about it, and she was saying how dumb it was that they weren't trusting, even though what happened. You all know the history of South Africa. I don't want to say it because I haven't researched, because there's only so much research I can take. There's only so much freaking things I could read about death, torturing, experimentation before my brain fully gets messed up. So I'm not doing that. If you want to research it yourself, I'm done. What was I even saying? Yeah, she was saying that, but I didn't really have any information. I didn't really know much of the past. Like, I thought I was a bit understandable not trusting them, but like, they should. I just don't know what to say. History should start teaching this. I don't know anything about Black history other than Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, Emmett Till, and some other civil rights people. And one thing about British history that I am so annoyed by, in British history, they make British people seem to be like the saviours, you know? They was one of the first countries to abolish it, but yet they were still doing it, still made majority of their money from it. And they're like, well, not as bad as America. Look at what was going on in America, when literally they had the Windrush scandal only happened like 5 years ago. I don't want to get into that again because this video is so heavy. I wish I had the comedic timing to make it comedic, but I do not. I'm sorry. This may not be what you signed up for, but like, in conclusion, there is no conclusion. I have nothing to say. I really have nothing to say other than I hate the world. The more and more research I do, the more and more traumatized I get. Like, I can't stand a celebrity or a YouTuber before I do a Google check to see if they have said something racist. I nearly stand Bryce Hall before the violence and stuff, but then I did a good Google check and I dodged a bullet. But like, this stuff is quite traumatizing, and I guess it's a normal thing. It shouldn't be. I hate it. I'm thinking now maybe I should have done the Malcolm and Marie review that I was going to do this weekend instead of this, because researching this was depressing as hell. That it's not like Malcolm and Marie was any better. That film is also depressing and very emotionally taxing. Also very sexual. This has nothing to do with anything, but John David Washington kind of like made out with Zendaya's foot. And I was just like, can you just make out with her lips like a normal person? Why are you trying to make out with her foot? Please stop. I think I've kind of run out of things to say now. I just feel like I'm kind of lucky because I still don't really have an opinion about like the vaccine, and I'm so lucky that like I don't have to. I'm not in like the target range and the target people that have to get it. I'm in like a luxury standpoint that I can just be like, I don't know, and I don't need to know. It could be the devil, it could be the mark of the beast, or it could just be completely safe and we're being precautious, in which we're very much in our rights to be. But I know this topic was heavy. Like, I just thought, if I have to traumatize myself by doing all this research, because I started doing this research on my own and thinking about this, I'm going to traumatize you all too. I'm going to make you the least mentally at ease you've ever been, especially if you're a Black person. So, you are very much welcome. Thank you so very much for watching. If you like this, please like and also subscribe. I feel very weird putting on a smile at the moment after what I just spoke about, but you know, smile until you feel better. Smile the pain away, and hopefully the world will end and we don't have to think of this stuff anymore. We'll all be dead. Anyway, on that very bleak, pessimistic note, have an amazing rest of your day. If you can, bye.